Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Smash the like button if you love me. Have your say. Subscribe if you're new. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, on Instagram Movies TV Mad X, and on TikTok now, where it is a little bit cringy, I will admit, but I love doing TikTok. It's fun. Mick isn't perfect over on TikTok because Mick isn't perfect and he embraces this imperfection, and now I'm talking about myself as a second person. I'm losing it. Anyway, welcome to today's show where we're talking about Superman Legacy because there has been an exciting update. First of all, let me tell you about what's happening tomorrow. Now, I don't know what long video I'm doing tomorrow, but I can tell you I will be doing a trailer reaction for Rebel Moon because Sunday night, America time, if you like, because we all live in different time zones, right? The full trailer of Rebel Moon is being released, I think, during a sporting event, an American football match, whatever it is, right? So when I wake up tomorrow, this brand new trailer will be available to me. I'm so excited for Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. Originally a Star Wars pitch. What's it gonna be? I can't wait. Bring on the director's cut on Netflix in, I suppose in a few months or whatever it's gonna be. But I'm so hyped for that movie and I'm so hyped to bring you my trailer reaction tomorrow. Anyway, James Gunn is finally talking about Superman Legacy. Interestingly enough, he hasn't made an official statement about his produced movie, Roadrunner versus Acme, being shelved by Zaslav and Warner Brothers Discovery. Interesting, isn't it? But it doesn't matter. It's been done. He's got bigger fish to fry. So he's talking about Superman Legacy, and this is what he's had to say. Thanks to the efforts of our talented crew, who never lost faith during the longest strike in Hollywood history and who never let their foot off the pedal, continuing to barrel forward, creating the most amazing character and set designs I've seen in my entire career. Superman Legacy will be making the originally planned release date of July the 11th, 2025. Gunn shared on Threads. So that, my friends, is the update, and it's very, very exciting. It's funny, Chris Wong Svensson on Twitter was talking about the release and, excited that the strikes were over so, we could barrel forward with this movie. And I said to Chris, I commented on the post and said, listen, actors couldn't work during the strike, but they were still developing that movie. And some smart ass, because there's always a smart ass with 20 followers who has to try and make you look stupid, good luck with that, telling me, well, the actors haven't been working, so they couldn't work on the movie. No, the actors couldn't work on the movie, but the production team could. And that's exactly what James Gunn confirmed, that I was bloody well right. I was brought up in this industry. I know what I'm talking about. I don't need 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I don't need 1 million followers on TikTok or Twitter to be right, to have lived the life I've told you I've lived. Believe me or not, I know what I'm talking about. You lot who have been following me for such a long time know this. I always, when I expose something or tell you when I translate what's really going on in this industry, I'm always proved right more often than not. So let's stop doubting Mick. Anyway, this is very, very exciting. And, I think James Gunn was very determined that this film wouldn't be delayed. I've heard they're going to start shooting this movie March of next year. What I want from you, in the comments down below, what do you want from Superman Legacy? No, forget about Henry Cavill, forget about we discussed that. We understand all of that is problematic. But as Superman fans and DC fans, or maybe just mainstream fans of cinema, what do you want this film to be? While you're commenting down below and smashing that like button, because smashing that like button is the only way my videos get seen, and my videos don't get seen because I don't get enough likes. So please, please, just like it. It doesn't cost you anything, please. Anyway, let's continue. So this is what I would do. with Superman Legacy. I've always looked at Jimmy Olsen as a more important character than some people think he is. AKA Zack Snyder doesn't believe that Jimmy Olsen is important. And that's a matter of opinion and debate. You're not right or wrong, whatever your opinion is on this. For me, Jimmy Olsen in the comics has always been the way into the story. He's Lucy going into the wardrobe in the Chronicles of Narnia. He's the companion going into the TARDIS in Doctor Who. He's an ordinary kid, a school leaver, who becomes Superman's best pal. If I was writing a Superman story for comics or television or film, the whole thing would be from Jimmy Olsen's point of view, because he is your way into the story, because he's the most realistic. He's the most realistic character in the story. You can relate to Lois Lane, but I think you can relate, out of everyone, you can relate to a young school leaver joining the biggest newspaper in the world and becoming best pals with the greatest superhero that there's ever been. And that's the way I would do the story. And I think that would relate to young people as well. These are things that I've told you about before. And I've always said that I've wanted a more domestic villain for Superman to come up against in the next Superman movie. We've done Alien Invasions. We've done Darkseid. I don't know what villain he's going to face. Now, despite saying I would rather him face a domestic villain, there have been rumours of Brainiac, but there's always rumours of Brainiac. Will I be upset if Brainiac is the villain? No. Because for the longest of time, we've all wanted to see Brainiac in his skull ship, and with what James Gunn can do with these movies, it would be absolutely outstanding. Let's not get it twisted. I have criticised James Gunn about some of the tactics used to sell these remaining DCEU movies. I won't take any of those criticisms back. But as I said many times before, James Gunn is a very capable writer-director, and I've loved each one of his comic book movies and Peacemaker. And I'm not going to change that stance. Every one of his CBMs and Peacemaker I've enjoyed, and I think they've been brilliant. Really brilliant and unique. And that's great. But Superman is a different animal, James. I'm not here to stroke anyone's ego. I'm here to tell you that a lot is expected of Superman Legacy, both in what it makes financially, but more importantly, the quality of the movie. It basically has to be the best comic book movie of all time. And then saying that, it has to be the best Superman movie of all time. Wow, it's got big shoes to fill, because there's been some great Superman media out there. The Adventures of Superman, starring George Reeves, a product of its time, fantastic. Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, a product of its time, fantastic. It has its fans. Superboy, in the mid-80s, brilliant. It has its fans. Smallville, the best Superman television show ever made. The pre-Superman story. I still think the show should have finished with an 8th and final season, with the original creators of the show running that final season, with the original cast staying for one last season, in Rosenbaum and Glover and Christine Krug and everyone. I think it shouldn't have lasted for 10 seasons. That's just my opinion. Superman and Lois has been a fantastic show, has its fans. Man of Steel, an outstanding Superman film. Batman vs Superman, a very unique film with Superman. The same with the Snyder Cut. And, Man of Steel is a contemporary Superman movie. But of course, the best effort thus far, for me personally, has been Superman the movie. It's the first time I saw Superman on any screen. It's the reason I love him and love DC. I also like Superman 2 and I like Superman 3 and even though Superman 4, and I spoke about this today, someone was saying Superman 4 is a bad movie. But here's the thing. I've watched Superman 4 more times than any MCU movie, any Arrowverse TV show. Basically, I've watched it more times than a lot of stuff. And the difference is, and I've watched it more times than the final 3 seasons of Smallville. The difference between Superman 4 and all the other media I've mentioned is that Superman 4's intentions were pure. It wasn't their intention to make a bad movie. Canon got the rights to make this movie. They ran out of money. They didn't withdraw the budget on purpose. And that's why it ended up being not so good. But its intentions were really good. And there are elements of Superman 4 that are really good, and you can't take it away from Christopher Reeve. If you think about it, when he's addressing the UN, I cry. It's beautiful. When he's fighting Nuclear Man at times, it's fun. It's okay when Nuclear Man is treading the nuclear footprints on the floor. They're very pioneering VFX, considering most of the VFX in that film are pants. So it's all about intentions to me. And it's a bad but entertaining movie. I mean, Masters of the Universe people deem is a bad movie. I don't think it is. I think it's a very, very well-crafted movie, and I love it. And it's the best live-action media for He-Man and Masters of the Universe thus far. And much better than that animated shit Netflix and Kevin Smith have been putting out. Anyway, back to Superman. So James Gunn is under immense pressure, but nobody knows this more than James Gunn. He knows he has to make the biggest and best comic book movie there's ever been. And he's bragging about his production team and, you know, what they're putting out there. That excites me. Because as I say, despite my criticisms about him and his handling of those DCEU movies and trying to sell them and the lies spoken about The Flash like it's the best thing ever, I'll never forgive that and I'll never forget that. But he's a great filmmaker and there's no question. And like it or not, he is making a Superman movie. And guess what? I fucking love Superman. So at the end of the day, I am not going to deny myself the pleasure of being a part of all the hype, the trailers, the marketing, and finally, the film. Now, David Zaslav isn't going to shelve Superman Legacy, although funnier things have happened, but I doubt it. It would be very interesting what James Gunn does think about the shelving of Acme, Roadrunner versus Acme. Was it a bad movie? I don't know. But it has been shelved, and there you go. But this movie, Superman Legacy, is happening thus far. There's no going back now. They're going to make this movie. It's James Gunn's movie, and DC live action. In this DC universe, the future of it lies, its fate lies in the success or failure of this movie, Superman Legacy. There can be no other DC Universe content going forward, films, streaming shows, gaming, and everything they want to do, unless this movie succeeds. They're not going to start planning out 10 movies in advance before they've even made or released Superman Legacy. That's a very wise decision by Safran, Gunn, and Zaslav. Let's put this one out. Yes, it's fine to release Waller. It's fine to release Creature Commandos. There's not much risk there. But in terms of Superman Legacy, this is a beginning of a brand spanking new universe that will use some of the old elements of the DCEU in a new universe, right? It's pretty straightforward. But don't twist that narrative. This is a full reboot. There's no question about that. And so, we're all very excited. Well, some of us are, most of us are. Of course, the Snyderverse stands will keep on twisting the narrative. I understand why, and I understand that you will never let it go or never forgive the company and James Gunn for removing Henry Cavill. But it is what it is. I can be angry about the way Henry was treated and the way they brought him back, then removed him again. I can be angry about that, but I can also support this movie. Because as I say, I'm a Superman fan. So I'm not going to rob myself of a brand new Superman movie. James Gunn has put himself under the parapet. You know, he's put a lot of pressure on himself. And there's no, we can't dance around that. If this succeeds, his reputation will be fever pitch. If he fails with this film, it's game over for James Gunn. You won't hear from him ever again. He'll be hiding in a bus shelter somewhere where the vagrants are. This is how serious this situation is, because he's put himself out there. He's put himself under pressure by saying certain things, by removing Cavill, he's put himself under even more pressure. But even without removing Henry Cavill, he still would have been under immense pressure to make a successful movie and launch a successful brand new universe. Because if this film works, then we've got a brand new, exciting DC universe going forward. And I think if you love Superman and you love DC, that's exactly what you want. And I'm not saying if you want this film to fail because you're a Snyder fan, you're anti-DC, but it doesn't help anything because I just don't think Snyder comes back just because this film fails. But there's still a question about can we sell Snyderverse to Netflix, which is another discussion. I think it's a possibility if Rebel Moon does well. So we will wait and see what happens there. But in terms of Superman Legacy, I want it to do well. I want us to celebrate Superman. I want this to be a celebration of DC. And as I say, James Gunn has been very successful in the comic book genre. Let's look at the current MCU movie, Marvel Studios movie, The Marvels. It's made the lowest opening in Marvel Studios history. The previous movie, James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, made around $900 million globally. There's a huge difference. So even though he's never had a $1 billion movie and people laud him like he has, but he hasn't, he's a good director, he's made great CBMs, and at the end of the day, he's capable, at the very least, of making a great Superman movie. But will he make a great Superman movie? Well, that's the unknown quantity, isn't it? We simply don't know. Some of you will say, he will fail. You know, it's going to be bad. It's going to have James Gunn written all over it. He understands that he has to make a bona fide Superman movie, but there's going to be a lot of DC character cameos in this. In that element, it's even more exciting because it's not just about Superman, it's about launching a new universe. But James Gunn has already promised us that this movie focuses on Superman. But there is, you know, and he hasn't said this, but I believe there will be a lot of world building for the DC universe in this movie. But it won't sacrifice the character. It won't sacrifice Superman, Clark, Lois, Jimmy, Perry, Lex, and whoever they're using as the villain in this movie. So he will have some world building in this movie for his future universe. But he knows, get Superman right, get this film right, then there's a future for DC Universe. Get Superman wrong, and then there's no future. Basically, they have hedged their bets on Superman. Or Zaslav has. I'm not sure if James Gunn would have launched a brand new universe with Superman. I think he would have gone a different direction. But at the end of the day, David Zaslav is the big boss man, and he wants Superman and Batman at the head of this brand new universe. We were told that Wonder Woman would play a big role in this universe, but at the moment all we're getting is a Wonder Woman streaming show, Paradise Lost, which is an interesting story, but it's not going to have any Wonder Woman in it, which is a very interesting thing to do. But James Gunn has already promised that, you know, this franchise is not the MCU 2.0. It's going to be very, very much its own unique animal. So it's interesting. It's very interesting at the very least. So we see how we get on and whether it's going to be successful or not. It's not exactly a great time to launch a superhero franchise or a huge expensive superhero movie, because that's what they're trying to do. They didn't capitalize on the vibe of the trend of the cinematic universe when the MCU was doing so well. They tried and they failed. Say what you want. I love MOS Bevius, the Snyder Cut, Aquaman, all those films, even Black Adam. But that franchise wasn't successful. As simple as that. We can't pretend that it was. So now this is interesting. Now that the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is failing, taking a nosedive, James Gunn is attempting to make a DC Cinematic Universe successful. Can he? I think there's potential. Even though I think it's a crazy time to attempt this, I think their Elseworlds plan is a better plan than a cinematic universe, just making individual movies, right? And, shooting your shot as an auteur with that rather than creating a universe is probably a better idea, considering the MCU has crashed and burned recently. But let's be clear, the MCU hasn't crashed and burned because cinematic universes don't work. It's crashed and burned because of them, because of the decisions that they've made. He could have continued Feige after Endgame and made epic, awesome, brilliant comic book movies and streaming shows. But he decided to go another direction with bad inclusion and bad representation and not developing minorities in the right way. He created a rod for his own back. He was just putting out content instead of art, because Iron Man, the first Iron Man, is a real film. It's got the values of making a film. As has Iron Man 2, whether you like it or not, or The Incredible Hulk, or Captain America, the first Avenger, the first Avengers, the first Thor movie, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Captain America, the Captain America sequel, The Winter Soldier, an outstanding film, and I can go on. The parameters and values that went into those movies were lost after Endgame. They became lazy and thought anything with the Marvel Studios brand on it could make money. If you don't make the effort, you will lose. Empires are destroyed from within, and that's what went wrong there. It's not the cinematic universe thing that failed. It's Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios who failed their very own cinematic universe. So let's not get it twisted. If James Gunn does a good job and makes a great Superman comic book movie, he can reinvigorate the comic book genre. But the truth of the matter is, when you make a good comic book movie like The Batman or Joker, they make money and they become iconic, memorable, and rewatched hundreds and thousands of times. So those films didn't fail. Basically, it's the old-fashioned adage: if you make a good meal, I'm going to eat it. If you make a good film, it's a good film and people will enjoy it. People went to see Barbie and Oppenheimer. They made shitloads of money because people enjoyed them. There's a fact. And that's it. Now, that's why I believe that, you're better off now just making individual comic book movies. But the money, if you can be successful with a cinematic universe, with a comic book genre, the money is huge. You can do so many things, and that's why Zaslav is doing this. He knows if Superman Legacy is successful, then Warner Brothers will be back on top because they can keep on making more and more and more. But it has to remain quality. Success creates problems. Success can change you. Success changed Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios, and Disney, and it made them become lazy. So if Superman Legacy is successful, they mustn't become lazy. And I think if they are successful, James Gunn will understand that he has to keep on doing what he did with Superman Legacy. And there's the thing. That's the big thing now. Will Superman Legacy succeed or fail? I believe that Superman Legacy can go either way. I'm not predicting success and I'm not predicting failure. In a way, I'm sitting on the fence, but I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not a precog. I can't tell you if something's going to succeed or fail. I can tell you that James Gunn is capable of making a great Superman movie, and he's going to make every effort to do so. Because a successful Superman Legacy finally puts James Gunn exactly where he's wanted to be. Maybe his ego has told him that's where he is at as a creative, but he's not. If this fails, he will pale into insignificance. He will be forgotten. He will not be remembered as an iconic filmmaker. Yes, the Guardians movies are great, Suicide Squad's great, and Peacemaker's great. No one can deny that. But he will not be remembered as a great director. But if he's able to make a better film than Superman the movie, and excite people and create, the beginning of an exciting universe for DC finally, something that we've never had. Well, really, we've kind of had it with Smallville, but I'm talking about a large cinematic universe. It's never been done before. Excuse me, I've got the sniffles. Typical when I'm doing a video, but yeah, this is what pressure he is under. He's got to do the best work he's ever done. I don't believe James Gunn has ever been under this pressure, not even with the Guardian sequels, right? He was never under this pressure. So, at the end of the day, some people thrive under pressure and some people melt under pressure. I think James will thrive in this position. It's all part of his ego. He wants to try and do this. He wants to be successful. He wants to say, look what I did, everyone. I succeeded where most failed. So many people have tried to make a successful Superman movie. Man of Steel is a great movie, but it didn't make the money the studio wanted. And that's the balance that James Gunn finds in looking for. A movie that captures everybody's imagination, the hardcore stands, everyone, the mainstream audience, just the normies, everyone. So it can make lots of money, but it can be lauded and be remembered forever. That's the challenge he finds himself in. He's embracing that challenge because he knows the benefits of that will be huge, but he knows if he fails, then it's over for him. His career is over. You can't continue a franchise if the first movie fails. It's unheard of. The Marvel Cinematic Universe succeeded because their first film, Iron Man, succeeded. Because at the time, Marvel Studios were just an indie company. They weren't owned by Disney. So that was historic. I remember when Marvel Studios was first formed. Everyone, the buzz was there. Everyone was very, very excited for what the future held. Try and get my words out. And the first film was a success. The first Sonic movie was a success. We had Mario this year. A success. Your first movie has to be successful, or you can't continue to make more. Hollywood is based on basically being successful. You don't get sequels normally if you're not successful. Although the Marvel Cinematic Universe is making sequels, even though the last movie wasn't successful. But in the early days, your first film has to be successful, or you can't have a sequel. You can't earn a sequel. That's how Hollywood has always been. And that's so important now for Superman Legacy, that it's a success. And we are in the dark. We don't know what it's going to be, what kind of film it's going to be. We can guess that we're going to get a Lobo. We know we're going to get at least one member of the Lantern Corps, which is very exciting. So I say this is a film that celebrates DC, and that's very exciting. What kind of film will it be? Who knows? But this is the responsibility that James Gunn has in his hands, and the heat is on. Everyone expects. There's people that want him to fail. There's people that want him to succeed. And one or two things is going to happen. And it's a career, basically. It's his career on the line. There's no denying that. You can't try and say, it's impossible for Superman Legacy, to make lots of money, and we're going to have to accept that he won't make lots of money because it's the first for blah. No. Now, that's what Access Media are trying to spin out there. This film has to at least make $800 million. In reality, people will spin it as a flop if it makes under $1 billion, but at the end of the day, that's the pressure he's on. Because he's got to produce a great movie that makes lots of money at the same time. But he's an experienced filmmaker who has at least an opinion and a view of what a DC universe should be and what CBM should be. He's told us what he thinks, that it shouldn't be homework, that each movie should be a movie in its own right. And I couldn't agree more. So he's certainly talking a good game. but can he put the game he's talking on the screen? We're going to find out in 2025, but the build-up, the rumours and the casting news is coming.